You have a squeaky chair.
I do, don't I?
Yes.
The microphone's too good, I guess.
I'm trying to find the perfect spot. I thought I would be in my quilt room, but it's too far away from the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Are you doing quilting?
Oh, yes. I think I got to turn off that light. What else is annoying here in this picture?
Hey, Marilyn. You're muted, Marilyn.
Okay, nice to see you both. Thank you.
Jean, Marilyn.
Sounds like George.
Yeah, hi Lee.
Hi,
Would that be
George.
GCLO000?
Yeah, I'm a big zero.
We don't see you, George.
Oh, you don't? Oh. Do I need to click on this or what?
Okay.
Mute, start video.
Left corner. Box.
Oh, there
There
I
you are.
is.
You are.
Click the speaker.
Yes.
Okay, so you're under the.
I need to find the settings so I don't look like I'm sunburned.
Hey, see you, Roger.
We don't see you, John.
Turn on your video. Don't see Lisa.
Don't see Coisy.
I am.
There's Lisa.
There's Lisa.
Here's Lisa.
I decided to turn my video on.
Well, is everybody surviving the smoke?
Just barely. We went to a motel for Saturday and Sunday night near a house here.
Wow.
It gets filtered, air conditioned air.
Wow.
We drove up to Mount Baker. It was nice and clear. It wasn't recently, like on the weekend.
Oh, look, Koizi has a helper.
Oh, yeah. You're muted, Koizi.
You're muted.
Okay. Yeah, my son and his family live in Portland where it's really horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So my daughter-in-law and the two little ones came up here. So we're having a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And my daughter was forced to evacuate at her place in Oregon,
Oh,
Wow.
horrible.
but they lifted the evacuation, so she's back home.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Hey,
A lot
John,
of-
you finally
Hey,
showed
there's
up.
John.
I am here.
Hi, John. A lot of Cynthia's family lives down on the southwest coast, in the Raymond area.
I'm gonna go check.
It's just absolutely horrible there.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's terrible out at Nia Bay. Their air quality, you know, the rating is like 300.
Yes.
Yeah.
well, let's hope things start to improve for all of the folks up and down the coast.
They said it wouldn't be till Thursday.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I watched a drone video today of some of the places in Oregon that have been burned, and it's just devastating.
My brothers in Chicago area said that some of the West Coast smoke has made it all the way to the Midwest.
Wow.
And I heard East Coast actually, in New York and DC. That's amazing.
I heard that the plume had already gone as far as Russia, so it's getting around.
I should say.
We like to share.
Well, I had heard that some of the smoke we have might also have been from the fires in Siberia. It is all kind of mingling there
Right.
in the, you know, the upper parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have those tundra fires, you know, that are
Right.
peat and that kind of stuff burning in the, you know, almost underground.
That stuff will burn forever.
Yeah.
Hi, Ed. You're muted.
Huh? There's Bob.
And Pat.
My screen says this is being recorded.
Yeah, mine
Now we
too.
can hear you, Ed.
So be careful what we say.
That's right. Don't insult the director. In language.
Hey,
Okay.
Bob?
Bob is here.
Those recordings that Adam put on the website, practice recordings?
Yes,
We can't download them?
that is correct. I went out and looked at it just before the meeting. They
Okay,
just need a button added.
I know.
Yeah, I figured that out about 10 minutes ago.
Okay, because I couldn't remember how I used to do it.
Neither could I. That's why I get out there and say,
Hi, all.
Hello, welcome.
Hey.
Yeah, yeah. I won't be singing today, but I wanted to come and say hello in the beforehand.
Well, you're
With a
sounding
voice.
great.
With a voice.
Yay.
It gets hoarse really fast. Just plugged my headphones. No wonder it got bad. Okay, Adam just tripped over the cable and unlocked the head. Yeah, I if I talk for too long, I get really hoarse. So I haven't even tried singing yet. So, but everything's going well. Yay! I can walk without. I've finally been able to walk again. So I was like, yay! And so I was like, I'm done having things happen. So
Ooh, don't say that.
I know. Knock on something hard. Yeah. But Adam's been working really hard on getting the music recordings together, and they sound really good. So I hope that you like them.
They do.
Yeah. Oh, you've listened to them already?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. I get to listen to them, record them, and then I get to listen to them when they're all done. So yay. But how are you guys all surviving with this smoke?
Not good.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Not well.
Yeah, when I was driving home from, I usually work from home, but today I go once every other week up to Marysville to my office, and driving home on the freeway was really bad. So,
Scary.
yeah.
Oh, my Cynthia says that something is not letting her in.
I think that's because she's in the waiting
Oh,
room.
please wait for meeting host. Okay.
I think that's me. Let me see if I can figure out how to do it.
All right. Lorraine's seeing if she can fix it.
I'm doing it.
Oh, she got
There you
it.
go.
Yay. Okay.
Yay.
Admit.
There's my beautiful honey.
There's an admit all. I didn't see it.
There she is.
Adam's doing the dishes, so I'm in here.
Oh.
Oh, he's not, he says. Okay.
There's Cynthia.
There we go.
Upside
There's
down.
Wendy.
Hi,
Wendy.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi. Miss you all.
Yes. We all miss
There we
all of
go.
you.
There we go.
Hey, there's
Hi,
Ruth.
Wendy.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi,
Hey,
Ruth.
Ruth.
Hi there.
Hi, all.
Oh, there
Hey,
There you are.
we had our flu shots. How about you guys?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not mine.
Plug it in for me.
They say the best time to get the flu shot is first week of October.
Yeah, I was
When
going
I
to
get
wait till
October.
October.
I know.
It's my husband and my big date. We go out and get our flu shots.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Used to not just walk to the hospital and being able to get a free flu shot. So,
Greg?
there we go.
Hey, Peggy.
Hi. There we go. Is that better? Let's see. Lower it a little bit.
Koyusi, where are you? Where are you, Koyusi?
She was on a little while ago,
Does
Ruth. She's got the grandkids
anybody-
with her.
Was she?
Go.
Oh, okay. That's why. That's why we see a C, huh? I see.
She'll probably be back.
I can hear it,
Okay.
Oh, there
but
she
I
is.
can't hear
She
it.
is.
There.
I'll just, no, I can hear it, I said. Yeah,
Is that better?
Okay, I'll take Rocky downstairs.
wait a minute.
They can hear Rocky breathe.
There we go. Yeah, Rocky will go down. Mm. Let's see. Working with the logistics here.
Where's Kathy?
There we go.
Oh, okay. Mary, are you going to have video tonight?
Yeah, we have Pat J, Sandra Jones, and Kathy who are not getting their video. We're not getting your video yet. And Edward.
And Marty Hitchcock.
Okay.
I just crashed, but it's on it.
Okay. There you are.
There's Kathy.
Oh,
Hi, Kathy.
okay.
Hello.
We see you. Hey, Edward, what's your middle name? Ed? He's not there. He's crashed.
Let's see. View.
There's Brian.
Marty.
There's Liz. Hey, Liz. Like Jill.
Brian, how's your family?
And we still do not hear your audio.
Can't hear you.
Okay.
Everybody's doing fine, not in danger. They're home where they're supposed to be.
Good.
Oh, good.
That's
Good, good.
Okay, I'm not seeing everybody. Let's see here. Participants. Mute mic. Nope, that's not it. How do I get so I can see everybody's picture?
Click on the
Right now,
gallery. It's on the upper right gallery.
now I've got a leave button.
Oh,
If you move your cursor upper right, oops, you can't hear me.
I can.
I can hear you.
Cursor to the upper right.
You might.
And you can select gallery view.
Yeah, if you say speaker view, then you have just the person speaking.
Yeah.
It's like a big thing. But if you do gallery view, you get all the pictures.
Okay, everyone.
Not.
Oh, there's
I'm on my Android, so
I don't know
whereabouts is it on
Androids.
my Android?
Yeah.
Adam's kicking me off because he wants to set up. Ooh, that's loud. Ah. Okay. You might not have heard that. Oh, is it loud to you, all of you too?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have a lovely rehearsal, everyone. Good to see you. Miss you all.
So good to hear you.
Hi.
There we go. I found it. Yay! Okay. I found it. I'm only getting 4 of you, but at least I found it. Better than none of you. Let's see.
Cynthia, there should be a little arrow that to one of the sides that'll lead to more pictures.
Right. Or if you're on your phone, you swipe it. Yeah.
That's what I got. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I can only look at a few people at a time.
Right.
Maybe that's a good thing. Okay, there we go.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi,
Cozy.
I don't need George.
And everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, everyone. There I am. Okay, where's the light? There, it's better.
Adam, I listened to your click tracks today,
Hmm.
and I think they're good. I like them.
Thank you. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They are good.
they're
It's going to
fun.
be really helpful.
Good. There will be other versions coming along. I'll talk about that later. That I'm going to experiment with, like a interpretive commentary. So I will add additional tracks that will, theoretically, the idea is that I'll give you a hint about what's coming up vocally and how to prepare for it and how to sing it better. So, okay, take a big breath right here, or something like that. No, I don't really mean that. I never would say take a big breath. That's not what I mean. But you know what I mean. Oh, more people
It's
coming
a
in.
lot of work,
Still
I
here,
can
George.
tell.
Oh yeah, many hours.
Yeah.
Whoops, wait, no. Yeah. All right.
Just a reminder that people can send in their donations to the post office box, and Peggy will get them, because that's what's letting us pay Adam to do all the hard work. So we need whatever people can manage to share.
Yeah. I sent mine today.
Good.
I
Me
sent
too.
mine last week. Yep.
All right.
Well,
That's good to hear. Thank you.
What's the name? What's that post office box number, Quasi?
I forget. Peggy, do you know? I can look it up.
I'll
But
just put it right here in the chat.
2976.
Thank
I believe.
Go ahead.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you,
Nine.
Peggy.
Okay.
2976. I think she can check me.
I need to breathe.
Yep, I gotta.
I'll wait to put it in before I, for sure it's right.
Yes. 2976.
2976.
Way to go, Nancy.
Right.
And called proofreading.
Zip code.
Zip code is 98273.
All right, 273. Okay. Good.
hi, Jackie. We can't hear you.
Hi, Koizi.
There
Good
she
to
is.
see you.
Joe Hogan
Hi,
would like to.
Jackie.
Do you remember Joe Hogan that used to be in our group? She wanted to just say hi to everybody.
Oh, good.
She and her husband live in Kingsman, Arizona now.
Oh, that's where they're, Kingman. That's where they're at. Okay.
Yeah,
Good. Well, tell her we say hi.
yeah. Who is our tech person, Adam?
For what specifically?
I couldn't get audio today on our website for our music. I could get audio on other sites.
So when you pressed play on the tracks that I put on there, you couldn't get audio. Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Okay.
Get audio.
I got audio.
I did too.
I got audio only for Sing On, but not for Bethlehem.
Really, that's interesting. Brian, do you have any thoughts about what might cause that?
No, but I will go check it right now and make sure it is currently working, because I did set it up so that things could be downloaded.
Good.
It looks a little different than when you set it up, but it'll be very familiar with our old practice music layouts. So.
Okay.
But I will make sure it plays, but I don't know why it wouldn't on a particular site. I've not ever encountered that.
Okay.
It looks like it's playing, the little dial moves across, but there's no sound.
Yeah. Sounds like a setting, possibly. Yeah. No. I mean, a setting on your end, Jackie. That's what I'm suggesting.
Yes, I couldn't figure it out. Other things worked. I tried other sites.
Well, make sure you hit the play button instead of hitting in the middle of that picture. Because if you just hit the overall symbol, but don't hit right on the play button, you're not going to get any sound. That's what I found today.
Oh, okay. I'll try that.
Good. Oh. Right. Okay. So Skagit Valley Corral, is that you, Carolyn and Jim signed in?
That's
We're
you.
here. We're here.
No. Yeah, we have a, oh, there's Carolyn. Good. We have a blank square that says Skagit Valley Corral.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I'm here. And the audio's off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Karen's here.
Oh, great. Earlier, the Skagit Valley Corral was Lorraine. Now it's Adam.
Yeah, that's still the same one that we're using here.
Yeah. Mine came up with that because it logged me in as the treasurer. So whoever the other one is probably has to be somebody who's got the treasurer login.
Okay. I know that we'll have, hopefully, we may have a guest tonight. Ed and Jean's daughter may be joining us. So what was her name again, Ed or Jean?
Katrina.
Katrina. Okay. So I don't know that I've seen her come in, but
I don't see her yet.
yeah. Okay. So. You know, it's funny. Bob, I know Bob Slind has seen me do this, and other people occasionally, tenors and basses especially, at the beginning of rehearsals in the actual space back at Mount Vernon Presbyterian Church. They see me looking at the clock at 6:29 and 30 seconds. It's like, okay, come on, let's go. You know, I'm ready to go. So actually now I see it is 6:30, so it's time to start. So, good evening. This is your chance.
Good evening.
Yes. that's
Good
right.
evening.
So, why don't we do just a little bit of Log in the River? So that means standing up if you can, so that you can move freely and you can think about hissing. We're going to hiss in a moment, but first of all, we're just going to move our bodies. You can decide which way the river is going to go, but breathe in and out. Easy shoulders, relaxed, palms relaxed, arms, forearms, and out. And let somebody into the waiting room. Let somebody into the river. Okay, good. And now let's breathe out. Let's hiss out for a moment. So we're breathing in and so check the muscles here in your face, the muscles here in your throat. You don't want to see that. Is it easy? Is it relaxed? Again, we breathe in. I've been talking to a friend about pushing the water, as in something you can't do, you know, but let's experiment for a minute. Let's come forward. Let's push the water. Oops, wait, sorry. I want to admit. So we're going to go. So the idea of that, in a way, that gives you a little bit more visceral feeling, like you might have when you're singing a long phrase of music and you want to think about your breath being sustained and steady throughout the whole phrase. So I don't know, I've never done it this direction yet, but that was kind of interesting. So you can do that if you want at home. So let's do a few little glissandi. So remember, glissando is the Italian word for whoa, for a slide. So we're going to do that on O. We'll start low, easily comfortable going up. Good. So, and stop for a second. As you're doing the glissando, it's a good opportunity for you to be aware. What's the quality of your vocal tone? Does it feel smooth and easy? Does it feel like it's rough? How can you smooth that out? So let's try that again. Here we go. Breath in. I always take too much time going up and then I run out of breath on the way down. So try that again, but a different vowel this time. Let's do it on E. Well, actually, you know what? You choose whichever vowel you want for yourself. And this does go back to things about what is your vocal health today? What are your particular favorite vowels? Do you have a favorite vowel? Have you figured that out? And so when you're feeling compromised vocally, that's a good time to go back to your favorite vowels, the ones that you feel good when you sing on. So for me, it's often O, sometimes E. So let's do that again. Your choice. Here we go. Breath in. That's good. Okay. All right. Enough of that. Let's move on to some other exercises. I had talked about working on onset. And as you know, I'm planning on using this beginning part of each rehearsal, just in a way, just like I have for 6-7 years and elsewhere, for a little bit of work on vocal technique. And I talked about starting to work on onset. So I'm going to type in onset here in the chat. And you can have different kinds of onsets. You can have a glottal onset. You can have a breathy onset. I used to have a teacher who called the right kind of onset, in his opinion, a sweet onset. There's a word called approximation. That's a word when your vocal cords have started to move along with the air that's flowing through it, then they are approximating. And if you go, then my vocal cords didn't really approximate properly. They didn't begin when I intended them to. So working on your onset is a way to bring that under control and to make it a choice that you make and something that happens when you intend it to and not just whenever it happens. So there's a teacher of singing who was big some years ago. His name is Richard Miller. And I have a couple of books of his. And there's an exercise that he wrote that I have liked. Of course, with all these exercises, you got to figure that some of them have been being done for hundreds of years. So I'm not sure I can ascribe it to him, but this is an onset exercise. It's very simple, very easy to get bored with it, but you got to keep focused on it. So if I were to find a pitch that's right in the mid-range, comfortable, not too low, let's see, let's do it here. So we're going to do it on an A. That's an A. Okay. So if we're going like, okay, so I'm going to actually mute you all for a minute. I'm going to mute you. I don't want to mute you, but you wait for me. Let me sing it for you first, okay, and then you sing it back. So it's just like this. They're separate, articulated, distinct pitches. Ah, 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 ah. That's all there is to it. Do it for a while. See how you feel. Are you consistent? Do you stay steady? Do you find that sometimes you got a little gravel in your voice, or you're not? You think you're starting to sing, and your voice doesn't actually make it happen at that point? What are these things? You can ask me questions in a minute. So let's do that together. Ah, one, and ready. Ah, 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 Good, okay. People will probably wonder what we're doing, except there's nobody else here, so we're okay. like I said, it could drive you crazy to do that exercise. There was a period where I was struggling with my onset, and I spent a lot of time doing that a lot of times. And I really feel like it gave me a perspective on how to do that intentionally. And you can speed it up, or you can do ha 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 ha. Try that. Let's do it. So we're separating them. We're doing 2 on each pitch, and we're doing it twice as fast. 1 and ready. Good. It might be simplest. It might be simplest with this exercise for me to mute everybody. So I'm going to do it again. Here we go. Singing with me. 1 and ready. Ha 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 ha. Now you can continue it on. Continue on the exercise. It's also a way to work on your breath management. How are you running out of breath? Can you continue this indefinitely? Theoretically, you should be able to. You'd need to eat eventually. But so anyway, the point is though that there's enough breath coming in between each of the pitches that you're singing that you don't find yourself depleted. And you're able to keep a breath management, a breath support that will sustain you just for these pitches. It's not like this may be enough for you to sing a long phrase, but it's enough for this very short phrase and this very intent focused kind of work. Okay, I think that's enough of that, but I want to say, so let's see, it's like ah, ah, ah. I mean, how am I going to notate that in the chat? I don't know. But I'll think about some way to get these exercises that we work on to you on the website so that you have some way of coming back to them and recreating them yourself in your practice. So that's something else that I'll be working on. Let's do something more melodic now. So we'll start on the A again. E, A, O. So I'm going to type this in the chat. It's ni, a, o, u. Those are the sequence of vowels. Ni, a, o, u. Here we go. Ni, a, o, u. Going down. Ni, a, o, u. Ni, a, o, u. Ni, a, o. Now I'm curious, how many of you find that on that exercise your lower pitch is less controlled than your upper pitch? That's generally what people find. And so this exercise is partly about maintaining the control of your pitch and of your vocal quality, of your tone quality, as you go from pitch to pitch. That's the point. So how can you improve that if you're having trouble with it? Thinking about the air flowing steadily is one thing. Noticing whether you have a tendency to add weight or to change your vocal throat position, your pharynx, if you change what's happening vocally, you're likely to cause trouble with yourself as you sing that exercise. Let's try that again. We'll do a sequence of them. Notice what you do. 2, 3, and ni, a, o, ni, a, o, ni, a, o. One more. Ni, a, o. So that was an E on the top and an A on the bottom. We're in an A major scale there, which is in the bottom range of most everybody's voice. So you may have found that as we got lower, you had more of a tendency to allow the gravity, to allow the weight to affect your tone. That's something we want to work against also. Keep it light as you go down. A couple more down in that low range, and then we'll head up. This is a G, so we're in C major here. 1, 2, 3. Resist gravity. Keep it flowing. Don't get it heavy. 3 and 4. Ni, e, a, o. Think musically. And here. Ni, e, a, o. My ah went wobbly. And here. Ni, e, a, o. That was much smoother. And here. Ni, e, a, o. Good. So that's down to, I think, a low A flat. Now let's head up a little bit from there. So I'm getting a message from someone that says they can't see what I'm writing in the chat. Can anybody see what I'm writing in the chat? If you can you wave? This is very strange. Oh, guess what? Well, okay. I have there's apparently a setting to chat to everybody in the waiting room versus everybody in the meeting. And I was seeing everyone in the waiting room. I didn't realize. So that's nobody. So sorry about that. Let me recreate what I did. Everyone in the waiting room. Okay, I wrote these things in here. Okay, these are the kinds of onsets. Can you see that now? Can you see that in chat? Okay, good. Thank you for your nods. All right, so, and then also I wrote the syllables that I was using for that. Okay, thanks Roger for letting me know. All right, so we were gonna head higher on the ni, e, a, o, u. And as you get higher, of course, the tendency is gonna be for tightening, for grabbing hold. You're gonna wanna keep free and easy in your shoulders and your neck. Let your breath flow as much as you can. Here we go. This is a G sharp, so we're not very high yet. 2, 3, and go. Ni, e, a, o. Going up. Ni, e, a, o. And ni, e, a, o. 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 2 more. Ni, e, a, o. 1 more. Ni, e, a, o. Okay, now I don't know if you could hear it from me, but I definitely felt that by the time I got to the high notes there, I could feel the effect of the smoke and the hoarseness in my voice. So I'm thinking I'm not going to take us higher than that on warm-ups today, certainly. So that was only an E natural, an E natural. So not that high. For altos and basses, that's starting to get high. For tenors and sopranos, it's not that high yet, but we'll call that good for the moment. All right, let's see, we're at 6:46. I want to do a couple more exercises. I want to do, oh yes, well I didn't really talk entirely about the onsets themselves, and so that you could hear the difference between them. We may or may not have done this in rehearsal, or if we have, it might have been a while, so I'll just reiterate what we've talked about. Some of you might not have heard this. So an onset again is that ah, 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 my first moment of beginning phonation, beginning sound with my voice. That's the onset. Now the breathy onset would be like ah, ah, right? My vocal cords are not approximating properly in that case. A glottal attack, you can probably figure out what that would sound like. Ah, ah. There's a kind of implication of, I won't even say, it's not exactly violence to your vocal cords, but it is a rough thing to do to them, to require them to be frozen, to be solid, staying still, and then to push air through them so that they break into movement. It's not really a very good thing to do. When I do this with my students, I usually have them experiment with it once or twice or a few times, but not more than that. It's just something to find out what it's like, partly so that you can discover if this is something you do on a regular basis, but it's not something that you want to do on a regular basis. You want to find that sweet attack instead. So if we were all to do a few onsets. And you know, I would like to figure out, I haven't spent the time to do this, to figure out how I can unmute everybody. But I'm kind of interested to hear what happens if you all sing your onsets unmuted. So you can go ahead and unmute yourselves now. And let's experiment with some different onsets all together. And we're going to hear a variety of things, I think. So let's all experiment with 1 or 2 or 3 breathy onsets, intentionally breathy. Okay, good. Right, so that's not something that we would want to do in singing because your voice doesn't move properly. You have to recover from that in order to sing, to continue on. It's weird too. Now, let's do glottal attacks instead. Let's do a couple of those. So what does that sound like? It sounds like, ah, ah, ah. Okay, right. Now you got the idea of what that feels like. What does it feel like in the middle? What does a sweet attack sound like? So, clear, clear. Good. Now, these are all going to be sweet attacks now. So your voice is going to move exactly when you intend it to, not forcefully, not breathily, right in the middle. Let me try it. Ah, ah. You go ahead. Ah, ah. Yeah, try with a pitch. That's a good idea. Ah, ah, ah. Good. Okay, that's the idea. So, all right, and clear. And clear. So that was fun. Kind of unusual, but yeah. So okay, so breathy and glottal onsets, we're not looking to do that. We're looking to do a sweet attack. And when you have a song like Betelehemu and you're singing wah, you're going to have to do that a number of times. Or like Ian, 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 no. Right? We're going to need the sweet attack on those too. If you do over and over that glottal attack on that, for example, sopranos and tenors especially, it sits, I think, on an E natural or E flat. That's going to be really tiring for your voice, especially if you're recording multiple times or something like that. So you want to really think about how your onset is working with your breath so that it makes it as easy as possible. All right, now let's go on to a little bit more long range exercise. We'll do an E-A-O. We'll do that one, except I don't feel like going that low. That was like a G. It was a G, yeah. So let's start on an A. So, E-A-O. Okay, and I'm going to mute you again. Here we go, I'm muting. And here we go. So 1, 2, 3, and go. E-A-O. So once again, it's the same sequence of, wait, I'm going to write it this way. E-A-O. It's the same sequence of vowels that I've been using for 30 years, and 2 pitches for each vowel. E-A-O. Going up by a half step here. E-A-O. And another half step here. E-A-O. And E-A-O. And again. E-A-O. And here. E-A-O. And again. E-A-O. Gonna stop for a minute. A few things that happened as I was singing that I was aware of for myself. A couple times my connecting, my pairs of pitches on the same vowel weren't very well connected. I heard a couple H's in myself, like a ye-he-ah-ha. That's exaggerated, right? Don't want to do that because then you're stopping the flow of your vocal energy. You're interrupting it. Also, there was something else. I think I went a little spread. Yeah, this is not very pretty. So we don't want to spread. We want to keep a focused tone as we're singing through this exercise. Each vowel leads to the next one. Say for me in a mid-range quality, say, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Because when you're singing this exercise, that sequence of vowels helps you focus the vowel as you're singing the exercise, as you're changing the pitch so dramatically across an octave. It's written that way so that you can really focus on what your vowels are doing and how well they're connected. Let's continue. Let's do some more. Here is a C major. So E, A, 1, and E, A, O, going up. E, A, O. The A comes right out of the A. E, A, O. Now thinking musically. E, A, O. Where's the crescendo? E, A, O. Let's do one more. E, A, O. Good. I used to have a voice teacher who talked about a swan's neck. I think we've done that in rehearsal. You go, E, A, O. If that helps you to have that sort of feeling of momentum, sort of direction with your hands, you could try that. Let's do a couple more with that. Back to a D, 1 and 2. E, A, O. Part of the point of it is you're feeling this momentum as you're going for the high note, so that it's not a sense of grabbing and tightening, but rather flowing through the high note. And here, E, A, O. Good. And another one here. E, A, O. And let's do one more. E, A, O. My voice cracked on that one, so I didn't quite have the connection, but that's all right. So, good. So that's our vocal warm-up, and I want to do a little bit of rhythm before we take a moment of break, and then we go into Betelehemu after that. So, thinking about rhythm, not thinking about sing-on rhythm, thinking about Betelehemu rhythm. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, right? So we don't necessarily have to clap like that, but the reason why I'm spending time on this is not just so that you can record it for us for the recording, but so that the physicality of clapping like this, or clapping in whatever way you are able to do, will inform your ability to stay on the rhythm when you're singing. That's the point of this physical exercise with doing the clapping or whatever. So let's do, first of all, we're thinking in 6/8. Gonna write this down, 6/8, which means that we have eighth notes are getting the pop, 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 pop. Those are eighth notes, and there's a 6 to each measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and stop. But we're feeling that in sets of 3, of course, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, you can see Nancy moving with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 4, 5. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just clap the big beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Good. Now see if you can add the others. Even if it's not really a full clap, even if it's just kind of an afterthought, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whatever helps you. The main thing is the big beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Good. Okay. Now, Remains to be seen if we were all in the same room how close we would be, but that's not that hard a rhythm. So we would probably be right on. But now what I want to do actually is I want to take you over to what I've got on Betelehemu so far. Close, yes, close, that's fine. Save. So I want to share the rhythm section, and I put this on the website, so if you've seen it there, you can already have seen it. But I'm going to share my screen with you, and what I'd like you to do, the point of doing this is I recorded different instruments, 9, 10, 11, 12 times, something like that. There's tambourine, there's shaker eggs, there's a rik, which is a Middle Eastern, like a Middle Eastern tambourine, and clapping, right? My hands. And all together it comes up with a fun rhythm. We still need some bass instruments. I'm going to be talking to Patrick Roulette and Steve Saman, who have played percussion for us, and asked them to do some magic with big djembes and things like that. We don't have that yet, and we'll add that on later. But meanwhile, there's enough for you to hear and say, hey, this sounds pretty cool, and what can I do to add to that rhythm? Or how can I move my body to go along with that rhythm? That's what I want you to experiment with right now. So I'm going to share the screen, share the sound. Okay, so can I get a thumbs up that you are seeing, go away Zoom, that you are seeing my, my tracks for Betelehemu? Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. Oops, let's turn that up a little bit. So, can you hear it? Okay, wait, stop. Let's go back. Can you hear, can anybody hear what I'm playing so far? Just a little bit. Somebody can hear a little bit. That's not good. Why would that be? I do not know. Let me play again. Still can't hear it? Okay, that's not a good thing. Wow, that could be a real problem. So can I get a thumbs up on the screens of people who could hear that? Okay, and now could I see a thumbs up for people who could not hear it? Wow, or thumbs down, whichever, yeah, a little bit. So when I speak, you can hear me clearly, but when I play that, you could not hear that clearly. Is that correct? Okay. Wow. I'm a little worried about that because I rely on being able to play things for you. So, but let's just see. I'm going to skip that for now, and we'll run over to the sing-on later in the rehearsal, and we'll see how that works. And maybe I'll think about it when we take a break. So I think I said that the first break would be about now, or maybe at 7:05. I'm going to take that break now so I can explore with this. I'm gonna share the screen, and I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna experiment with it. And so it's not exactly a break, but you're welcome to go away and do whatever you need to for a few minutes while I figure this out. Okay, so I'm sharing. Oh, wait. Pat, Fickard, you can't hear it? Just a little bit. That's bizarre. Okay, and you see I've got it turned up as high as it'll go. That's a bummer. Okay, let's try this. If I were to go to here, back one, if I were to play it here, won't make any difference. Can you hear that better?
Very loud.
Oh, very loud. Sorry. Let's try that. Turn it down a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, so that suggests, I'm going to unshare. That suggests it's a problem with logic with that program, not with my computer or Zoom. Okay.
Adam, it may have something, a setting that which output device it's using.
Yeah.
But it's only hitting your headphones or something.
Right. That would make sense.
Rather than whatever it is the capture is looking at.
Okay. I will, actually, we're still on a little bit of a break here, so I'll take a few minutes and I'll see if I can find that.
While you're looking around, just something I wanted to share about you were talking about how your voice is doing and stuff. Something I've noticed since I started singing again in probably, I guess, June, after several months off, I've got my glissandos are not smooth. They're just breaks where that jumps from one note to another instead of a smooth. When I'm doing the E-A-O stuff, there's notes that all of a sudden don't quite work.
Disappear.
I'm having a lot of trouble for the first time in years getting past the break in my voice. Usually I know how to go smoothly between registers. I can't hit my falsetto smoothly to save my life at the moment.
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of things I'm struggling with.
And we didn't really go into falsetto today. In terms of what we were just doing in sort of mid to higher range, especially for a bass baritone.
It was just hitting. It was the higher stuff that you were ending up on was just creeping into it, and I was having problems getting to certain of the high notes. I could hit them all right if that's all I was hitting, but jumping across the break was tougher.
Right. And that's part of the point of doing that kind of exercise is so that because that's a real life need. You're going to sing phrases that jump around like that. So that's part of the point of being able to navigate them. Excuse me. Yeah. So I'm not sure what else to say at this point about that, but I'll put it in my mind. I'll think about it, and I'll see if that's something that I can address kind of tangentially, perhaps. Okay, so we've had a 5-minute break of sorts, and I don't have an answer yet. I've just started to scratch the surface. There are people talking on the internet about using Logic with Zoom, and I thought I did it last week, though. I thought I played something for you last week and did it well. Yeah. So, okay.
No, it was just out of the notation editor, not
out of Logic. It was only out of Sibelius, right? Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting. All right. Bummer, dude. But I'll figure it out. I'm sure there's probably an answer, and if there isn't, then I'll retool. So now what we're going to do is a little bit of Betlehem. We're going to work on pronouncing the words. I realized, thanks Candy for letting me know, that not everybody had sung this before, and so not everybody knows the pronunciation of the text, which, by the way, is in Yoruba. That's the language, as I understand. And so I have the words, and I'm going to share those. Brian, you have a question or a thought?
Did we have a pronunciation guide back when we did it last time?
Well, I'm sure we did.
Okay,
but
I look at my archives and see if I've still got anything and see if
that would be great. Sure, let me know what you find. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm going to share the screen again with you, and I'm going to put, where'd it go? It never saved it. Okay, so you're going to watch me do this live. I had a problem with my computer. It didn't want to save, and so I thought, Iori Baba. baba bo jule. And then, so everybody say for me, awa yori baba bo jule. You know what? I think I'm going to need you to not be muted. So people aren't muted now, right? Go ahead and unmute yourselves. And you can see my screen, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So nibola biesu. So go back and say awa. We'll do this in rhythm. We'll do it just as we would in rehearsal. We'll speak it in rhythm, and it may be that what we hear together is not coordinated, but that's all right. You can practice it together. So here we go. I'm saying it first. You're saying it back. Awa yori babak bojule.
Awa yori babak bojule.
Good. And notice on gbojule, the G, you just go right past it to gbojule. Now notice where the stresses are. Okay. Notice awa yori babak bojule. Can we put a rhythm with that? Let's do that again. One, and say awa yori babak bojule. So you want to find that rhythm when you're saying awa yori babak bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Okay. Good. And stop. Thank you. And stop. Okay. Now, okay, everybody, please stop. Thank you. Let's set it up so that we're going to do both phrases. We're going to go back one. What we'll do bojule and fehenti. Remember, now, in case you're wondering about this in the music, at the beginning, of course, this is just the women, the sopranos and altos that say it very slowly. I'm not really worrying about pronouncing it in that context. It's when it goes much faster that we really need to prepare to be able to say that well. So here's just those two first phrases. We're going to loop them and say them a couple times, one after the other. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awa yori babak bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Okay, guess what? I'm heading for the mute button. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I said it was just a little more input than we could probably handle. So let it be one voice for me for now, and that's mine. And I'm gonna share the screen actually in a different way. I'm not gonna worry about trying to type it in front of you. I'll just put it in the notation, which is already done. And so to be me muted, if you need to call my attention, you can get that in chat. You can chat to me, or you can wave your hand really big on the screen and somebody will get my attention, but I'll also be paying attention. So we're gonna do again, we're gonna go back to sharing the screen, and I'm gonna put my notation for Betelehemu up on the screen. So can you see the notation for Betelehemu? Good, thank you. Now I'm gonna make this a little bigger and we're gonna look at a different direction. Okay, a little bigger. Okay, let's go back this way. All right, so this first section here. By the way, these numbers here have traveled somewhere they're not supposed to be. That's supposed to be up there in that first ending, and that's supposed to be there in that second ending. Okay, so awa yori babak bojule, awa yori baba fehenti, awa yori babak bojule, awa yori baba fehenti. So really, there's only those 2 times through both phrases, and that's all there is to it. Let's go a little bit slower there, just in case anyone's having a struggle with this. By the way, if you are struggling with this and you need me to help you say something or clarify a pronunciation, go ahead and unmute yourself and get my attention that way. That's fine too. Here's awa yori. So don't worry about pitch right now. We're just going to speak it. And I'm going to go a little slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awa yori babak bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Awa yori babak bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Nibola biesu. That's just a hint of what goes on next. But let's do this first. Bases, you have something a little different than what everybody else does. You come in on the nibolabi earlier than everybody else does. So you have to be prepared for that with this baba fe nibola. You have to not finish that the second time through. So what we have then, and I can see the notation, I need to make this a little clearer. I'm going to put these first and second endings down here on every line so that's clear. I don't know why that's not there already. So bases, when you say it, let's just do bases right now. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, ready? Awa yori baba bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Second time. Awa yori baba bojule. Awa yori baba fe nibolabi. Nibolabi yesu. And I'm not going to continue on. So bases, this little measure right here is a spot for you to be rock solid on, to get really comfortable with not being surprised when that changes the second time. Now notice here, I've added this F and G, the octave above. The original notation didn't have that, it had this. So I know that there are baritones among us who just don't really feel comfortable singing that pitch. You're not going to make much sound down there. So you don't have to worry about that. You go ahead and sing these notes, the upper octave. So it'd be like this, bases. I'm not going to generally sing much of this right now, but it would be, this is the second time through. Awa yori gabagwo jule, awa yori babafe nipolabi. When I do the practice guides, I'll definitely sing both a low bass part and a baritone part there so you can hear it either way. But basses need to be ready for that, so that's something to work on. Meanwhile, tenors, altos, and sopranos, you finished the same way you did before, baba, fehenti, and 1, nibolabi, yesu. Notice, of course, the nibolabi comes in on the end. There's the second eighth note, not right on the beat. Let's do this. Sopranos, altos, tenors, everybody can practice this, but we're focusing on soprano, alto, tenor. Start here at the first time through, be ready for the second time through to go on to Nibolabi Yesu. Now, I don't think we actually said these words, so let's do that first. First of all, say Nibolabi Yesu. I knew you could. Now say Nibolagbe bi. Notice it's bi, same vowel, different articulation. And there's a little glottal stroke there on purpose. Nibolagbe bi. See the staccato there? It's notated to help you remember that you're going to separate that bi. Everybody say bi. Okay, now let's just say these words on their own. Nibolabi Yesu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Nibolabi Yesu. Nibolagbe bi. Again. Nibolabi Yesu. Nibolagbe bi. All right, now let's go back and do what I was planning on. This is from the Awayori. Sopranos, tenors, altos, we're focusing on you. Basses, if you can go ahead and do your part, that's great too. So, 1, 2, 3, ready? Awa yori baba gbojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Awa yori baba gbojule. Awa yori baba fe nibola. Oh, sorry, I did the bass part. Oh, my fault. Sorry. Let's go back to awa yori. Second time, soprano, alto, tenor. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Awa yori baba gbojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. And Nibolabi Yesu. Nibolagbe bi. Nibolabi Yesu. Nibolagbe bi. Going on. Betelete muiluara. Nibelabi baba odaju. Betelete muiluara. Nibelabi baba odaju. And I'm worried about that in a moment. So notice the notation here. So this is, rather than feeling the triplets in this measure, we're dividing these notes as duples, right? So it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what, da, 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 da. Now it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And remember how we practiced in the past the feeling of duple versus triple? That's what we're doing here. So even though the rest of the rhythm is going to go pop, 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 you're going to be thinking betele muy luara. And of course, you go back to that triplet feeling here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is a rest there. So let's do this betele mu. Theoretically, you'll be clapping, but not when you're singing. I don't want you to try to worry about clapping and singing at the same time when you're recording. But you could try it right now if you want, just for your practice. Here's Betelehem, 1 and 2. Betelehem mui luara, ni bela bi baba odaju. Betelehem mui luara, ni bela bi baba odaju. Sometimes it might be helpful to have a little subdivision going on here, a little bit of rhythm that helps you hear all of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are actually 16th notes. The way it's played. But I find that sometimes that really helps me to be honest with the rhythm. Ni bela bi baba odaju. Mui luara. Ni bela bi baba odaju. Okay? Looking ahead, by the way, okay, let me just come out for a second here and check and see, does anybody have questions about what we've done so far? George, I see a question from you. Go ahead and unmute. So George, you need to unmute and then you can ask your question. There you
Is
go.
it da-ju or da-ju?
Yep, da-ju, ju. So j,
Okay.
DJ
Da-ju.
sound. Yep, thank you for asking.
Okay.
Other questions? I'm looking on the next screen of people. Is that Karen, you have a question? Go ahead
Well,
and
I
unmute.
just, yeah, I did. Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
I was very happily just now to print off the music as I'm sitting here at my desk.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to let you know if people need the music, they can print it off their computer.
Yeah, and it's good. Sandra's got it too.
Sorry.
No, no
Sorry.
problem. But
I
yes,
just got all excited.
that's
about
good. You can download it from the website, from the Skagit
Yes.
Valley Chorale website on the members. Okay, Marty, I see. Thank you, Karen. Marty, I see you have a question. Go ahead and unmute.
Yes. So you're saying Yezu,
Yes.
but
Yes.
when we get to the Baba Oda, then it's Ju, not you.
Yes, I know. It's not consistent.
Okay. And then what is the La Gabe? Is that, are you pronouncing the G and the B both?
Yes, I am. The G is just it's a hard G, but it's very quick. You get right past it. La G B E. It's kind of a rhythmic element, really. Da 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 da. It's like a pickup to the measure.
So if I were
La
to
G
say-
B E.
If I were to say Gabe, that's
Yep. Why don't you say
Okay.
La G B E?
La Gabe B E.
Yep, that's right. Good.
Okay,
That works fine.
thank you.
Thank you. Good. I'm looking for any other last questions on this section so far. Okay, good. Now, I know that many of you know this song well, and so this is review for you, but that's all right. We want to make sure that we're all coming together on this. We're working at the same level. Back to the screen. You can see the notation again, right? Yes, nod your heads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Baseline is hidden.
okay. Sorry? Oh, the baseline is hidden. Yeah. Okay. Well, bases, we don't need to see that part right now. I'm joking. Let's do this. Oops, not you. Sorry. Make you a little bit smaller so we can include everybody in there. By the way, notice that I included the translation, which was not in the original on going through the music, so that we have some idea of what we're singing. What a concept. Now, this Betelehumu Odaju, right here. So there's a portamento here. I'm going to pull that so you can see that on the alto line. Okay,
Mhm.
there's a if I was like, for example, on the soprano part, Baba Otaju, right? There's a slide, there's a glissando, portamento, glissando, similar sort of effect, right? We are
Yep.
sliding from that pitch to that pitch. So when you're speaking the words, when you're working on pronouncing the words correctly, in this section, go ahead and build in that habit of holding daju out to in.
Daju.
So it would sound like this. If I was doing this betelehemu second time through after this repeat, it would be betelehemu iluara ni vela bi baba o daju. Now, over the years, and by the way, I'm going to stop sharing briefly. I'm going to mute all once again, and I'm going to go back into the screen. Okay, right. For years, I've been saying e-yin through here, and I have no idea whether it's wrong or right. But lately, I've been listening to the Morehouse College recording. I mentioned that last week. I played a fraction of it for you, and I think of them really as the ones who introduced the song to America. And they don't say Ian, they say Ian. Now, I remember I've told you at times that I won't change the notation that you're reading from, that you're singing from, but I will keep another copy of the notation that I can mess with and change things. So it's kind of like that, maybe. So instead of Ian, this makes me think of Ian, which is how the Morehouse College Glee Club sings these words. They say, Ian, Ian, Ian. So I gotta change this one also. So for you, I'm not gonna change this on the performing score, but on the practicing score, I might throw in these words occasionally so that you're reminded it's not Ian, it's Ian, okay? Let's say this. Now, here's another thing about the rhythm that's tricky, a little tricky in this song. See how that, if I were to do this, how can I do this? I can show it this way. I can show you the numbers in number of the beats, okay? All right, so 1, 2, 1, 2. The yin of Ian happens after the second beat. It's a little bit delayed. If I was clapping the big beats like we were doing earlier, Ian, 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 ni, fu, no. Now, when you get to Ian, ni, fu, no, then we're back to the emphasis on the 1 and the 2, the big beats. But here, that emphasis is offset a little bit. Ian, 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 ni, fu, no. Let's do it together. Ian, 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 ni, fu, no. That has sometimes thrown some people off, so I want to point that out so that you're comfortable with it. Let's go back and get a little bit more of this. Let's go back to the betelehemu and then head into the Ian with that portamento. Okay, here we go. Betelehem, 1 and 2. Betelehemu iluara, mi bela bi baba odaju. Betelehemu iluara, mi bela bi baba odaju. Ian, 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 ni fu no. Ian, 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 ni fu no. A du pe fu no. So now we're on to the next section. Notice how this is repetitive. And notice also how the stress is on the big beats once again. So the rhythm here is much less complicated than it was on the Ian section. Everybody say, a du pe fu no. A du pe fu no. Again, a du pe fu no. Now notice here, we have like be, earlier we have a word that has the same vowel on 2 different notes, and we want that articulated. Jo-oni, say jo-oni. There I'm doing a little bit of a glottal stroke again on purpose to clarify that second O, jo-oni. Let's do it in the whole phrase. A du pe fu no jo-oni. Adupe funo jooni. One more. Adupe funo jooni. Now we're back to another set of duples here. Ba ba o lo re o. Here's a good exercise for you. Can you feel the 6 in one part of your body while you say the duple in the other? Ba ba o lo re o. 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 That's not quite the same, but it works. Okay, whatever you want to do to feel the rhythm and to feel the interesting interplay between the 2 and the 3. That's part of what's exciting about this piece, is that shifting gears from the 3 to the 2. All right, so let's see. Let's go back to Adupe funo, and we'll go on. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, ready. Adupe funo, lift. Adupe funo, cut off. Adupe funo, jooni. Ba ba o lo re o. Holding in crescendo. In funo ba ba. In funo ba ba. In funo ba ba anu. Ba ba toda washi. What does al niente mean? It means to nothing. So we're going to fade that out, and if I need to do it with the fader on the actual Logic, the digital workstation, I will fade everybody out. But we're going to make you fade away as the drums continue, and then we get back into the Betelehemu section and back to that slow. But let's go back here first of all. You heard me say washi, and anybody not familiar with this piece said, what? There's no H there, but yes, you say it, washi, washi, okay? So, and these duples, let's do that. Ba, ba, to, da, washi. Ready? And go. Ba, ba, to, da, washi. You're going to need to count in your mind. I might do things like this. Put this in the notation so that you can see the beats, and so you can keep track of them in another way. But basically, you're gonna need to keep that in your mind. Also, I'll be conducting, right? You'll see the visual of me conducting you on that video click track when you're recording. But sometimes I think that lots of different resources might be helpful. All right, let's do this. Let me stop sharing for a moment. Let me check and see what questions about the last section we just did. Are there questions about that? Okay, checking the last screen. No questions. Okay, good. So, and I'm checking. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Yeah. Okay, I'm just checking chat here. Yeah, there is a difference. There is a difference in nibolabe, nibolagbe, be. That's different from section to section of the piece. So that is correct. That's intentional. Okay, thank you. All right, so now let's go back and let's do one more little bit of this all the way through from the fast section. Sorry for scrolling. Okay, awa yori babak bojule. And I've been trying, but I'm just not quite good enough to do the shaker with my left hand while I'm controlling with the mouse on my right hand and singing at the same time. So I'm not going to try to do all 3 of those things at once. And so you have to feel that. Keep that in your mind. Here we go. Awa yori. 1, 2, 3, ready. Awa yori babak bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Awa yori babak bojule. Awa yori baba fehet nibola. Nibola bi Yesu. Nibola bebi. Nibola bi Yesu. Nibola bebi. Betelehemu iluara. Nibela bi baba odaju. Betelehemu iluara. ni bela bi baba odaju ian 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 ni funo again ian 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 ni funo adupe funo adupe funo adupe funo jooni baba oloreo iin funo baba iin funo baba iin funo baba anu baba toda washi. Okay, so there you have it. All right, I love the high five, Nina. And what's your daughter's name? Tell us what your daughter's name is. I can't remember.
It's Eva. This is
Eva. 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 Okay, great. Nice to have you with us. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, and that's, I won't do singing on Betelehemu today. I haven't started to sing those practice guide tracks for that yet. That'll be in the next few days. And we'll do more singing of that next week. If you have any spots in Betelehemu that are tricky for you, that you're having a hard time with the rhythm or the whatever, I need to know that. It's interesting, actually. So you notice that I, so far, have had very little singing of people singing for us. And I got some feedback that people would prefer kind of more opportunities for everybody to sing. Now, of course, we can't all sing together. So it's been more of the Adam show and less of putting other people on screen and having them sing. But I will still be doing that in the future. But what was I going to say about it? Darn it. I was going to make a point and I can't remember what it was. All right, it'll come back to me if it's important. So I'm bothered that I can't remember. That's all right. Let's move on. So I'm going to go over to Sing On, and we're going to go another few minutes, and then we'll take a break. I think at 7:45. Yeah, that's right. So with Sing On, you can, hopefully, you've seen that the website has the practice guides. I don't know how many of you have listened to them, but you can listen to them, and I know that Brian made them downloadable now, which is great, so that you can either listen to them on the website or you can download them and listen to them in whatever device you need to do that with. Take them out on your walk or on your run and sing with them. I know Ed does that, actually. So let's see. My plan was to play through the entire, the whole recording. It's possible, maybe you've heard the whole song, maybe you haven't, but this is a way for you to hear everybody's parts. Since I sang everybody's part, I sang it 3 times. You know what? I want to show you the visual. Even though I can't share Logic with you right now, I can't play it for you. Well, I could maybe do something with that. I still want to show you the visual. Don't say. Okay. I want to show you what I've started to work with. Okay, so can you see the Logic Pro? Can you see the tracks here? Thank you for your nods. All right, so I'm going to make this big and take up the whole screen now. So what I have here, you can see I've got 3 basses, 3 tenor parts, actually 4 soprano parts. I don't use them all the time, and 4 alto parts. This sub 1 is a combination of 3 or so recordings that Stephanie did with the piano part. So far, this is what we have. And then this one audio track that's just hanging out there, and I don't really use it right now. Eventually, when we start having tracks coming in from you, we're going to have dozens more tracks here. It's going to start getting really busy, and your tracks will probably be orange unless I color them some other different color. My tracks, like the soprano part, for example, that I adjusted my part digitally so that I'm singing an octave higher than I really did. It sounds a little squeaky, and I'll probably take that out of the mix and let the real sopranos do that. But meanwhile, this provides us the basis for what you need to hear each part. Also, if you look over here, see these they're called pan pots. Pan has to do with where in the audio spectrum, if you're, say, listening with headphones, where is it that you're hearing the part? And of course, that depends on whether you have your headphones on backwards or not. Just be aware of that. So the alto parts here, I've got the altos mostly over on the left-hand side of the soundscape, and I've got the sopranos on the right-hand side of the soundscape, and the tenors are over with the sopranos, and the basses are on the left side with the altos. So as you're listening through the song, when I play it here for a moment, you're going to know where to listen for your part in the sound field. Okay, does that make sense to people? Let's kind of scroll around and see what we got here in terms of questions. Okay, all right, so I'm not going to try playing it through Logic. I'm going to play it through our website instead. Oh, and by the way, I didn't really address this, but say if you were going into the member login screen, let's just step through this in case you haven't seen this or not sure about it. This assumes that you have access. If you don't, it's an easy thing to sign up. You just put in your name and a password, and Brian or Bob confirms you, and then you have access from then on. So here's the front and center basis of all that we're going to do this quarter. Everything you need is going to be under this button and then in sub pages from there. Right now you can see these 3 songs. I haven't got anything to share with you yet, so those aren't active. They look active, but they won't do anything if you click on them. So Sing On now has tenor, alto, bass, and soprano. Hey, who set this up? Should be soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Tenors are never at the top. Anyway, so I'm going to play the Sing On Atom mix. This is the one in which all parts are equal, so no part is predominant, and you'll hear it in the places that I was just mentioning on the sides of your headphones. I think I'm going to just be quiet now, unless I can't help myself, and let it play for you. Is the volume enough?
Sometimes when I chance to catch the sunrise, rising o'er the eastern range, something inside me winds up singing. Something inside me is changed. And deep inside it seems there's more to life than we might know. If it's first music from my soul. Sing on, whatever comes your way. Sing on, sing on. Keep your music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on. Sing on.
So I hope that you can hear yourselves, you can think of yourselves being within that mix. You're not yet, but you will be. So it's just a matter of recording the parts and popping them in, just like I did. Now, I got the benefit of being able to, fix things and correct things and say, oh, that spot I don't like very well. And you won't have that opportunity unless you record into GarageBand and send me some sort of final mix, which we talked about that a week or two ago. And that's possible. You could do that if you want, but you don't have to worry about that. If you do a recording or two, and like, for example, you do a recording and you feel really good about it, and then the last little bit is like, oh no, you messed up at the end, then you just do another recording and you send me both. Yes, that's okay. You send me both, and you might even tell me, you might not want to use the section at 3:05 when I really crashed and burned, but I'll figure that out myself if you don't. But in any case, you have that opportunity. I'm giving you the opportunity to fix your mistakes in a way, to give me the opportunity to have a track from you that has good bits all through, if you will. So, personally, I think there's no reason why anybody would need to feel worried about them not being able to sing something that's worthy of being included. I think you all can do that. So I hope you all feel that way too. So let's take a break now. We're going to take about 5 minutes, and when we come back, we're going to sing section by section. We'll cover, I have a little 7-minute timer here. I'm going to try to use that. 7 minutes for each section, covering details, fixing spots, giving you how to hear what we need to work on. So, okay. So I'll take a break here for a second. Okay, we're back. It's been 5 minutes, so I'm going to continue on. And well, I didn't think about this. What order should I go in? Let's just start with the sopranos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the notation. I'm going to play the soprano part predominant soprano guide, and I'm going to show you the music notation as we go through. I do want to point out to everybody that I've been marking up this music. This I will put on the website very soon, like tonight, this notation, sorry, so that you can see when I'm talking about you taking breaks and breaths and things like that. There are a few things that I haven't got on this one yet that I need to finish up, but I'll get that available for you to download as a PDF if you want, or you can have your own copy of the sheet music handy and transfer the markings that I've made into your own score. That's fine too. No need to print it out again if you don't need to do that. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. Actually, before I do that, do we have questions so far? I'm just going to kind of scroll through and see if I got any waving hands. No waving hands visible so far. Okay, so we're going to start with the soprano part. Now note, as I've said in my email, even though we're playing the soprano track, you could sing your own part along with the soprano track. You could sing the soprano part too, just you could moonlight. You could experiment with different things to broaden your knowledge of this piece, to broaden your experience of the piece. Every time I sing a different part on this piece, as I said in my email today, I'm just really impressed with the construction of the piece and how well the parts fit together, how interesting they are. And there are spots where I didn't realize the impact of a changed note. This happens in the tenor part a couple times. I didn't realize the impact until I heard it in the context and suddenly realized, wow, the tenors hand their part right off to the altos there, or the tenors pop out of the texture there just for a moment, and it's a really exciting moment. Every section has those moments, and if you sing the other parts, then you'll start to discover those, and you'll also discover how they fit with your part, and that makes it much more fun, especially someday when we get back together and we can sing this in the same room, sing it mixed, and you can have that other part on either side of you and say, oh, I recognize that. You know, that's part of the long-term goal too. Okay, so sharing screen. Starting, so sopranos, let's see. I think we'll start here. We'll start roughly at about 0:37. Notice I've got these timings in the music notation now. So theoretically, I need to make sure this is actually true. But theoretically, if you go to 37 seconds in the recording, you're going to be right about in this spot. So I'm going to go back to here about something inside me has changed. So you're ready for your pickup to, and deep inside. Now I'm going to point out something else, something that's not great about my recording. Not here so much, but on the second verse where I say, but deep inside, my and my but, those two syllables are like minuscule. I didn't give enough volume, enough vowel on those, so I'm not entirely happy with them, but they're okay. So just be aware. And deep inside, there's a connection there that you need to make. What else do we need to talk about with that? Nothing really very complicated. Notice, whatever comes your way, sing on. 3, sing on. You're going to breathe on that third beat. You're not going to carry that across. Okay, keep your music going. Breath flowing from the heart until the day. Breath is past and gone. This was a director's decision that I made. We could have gone, and I think probably the composer expected, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. One long phrase there. But I had the feeling that that would challenge our group, challenge a number of singers. And I also feel like I like the articulation after this day is past and gone. I like the effect. So you get an extra breath in there, make sure you take it. It's on that second beat. See how it lines up there? And then that'll give you plenty of time to be comfortable with the rest of that phrase. So take the time to look around and find the things. Let's speak this rhythm. Altos and sopranos. Altos get in there with us too. Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on. So once again, do that rhythm. I'll give you 2, 3, 4. Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on. Notice that things and keep get a little extra stress. Oops, let's see, can I make a mark in there? Find the things that keep, those words get extra stress. Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on. That will help you feel that rhythm and get it accurate. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the recording. We're going to go back to about 035, and you can jump in and start singing with it. Sopranos. This is where having logic would be much easier because I can control it a lot better. But this should be about where we want. Okay, here we go. 3. And deep inside seems that to life and we might know, and it stirs the music in my soul. Sing on, whatever comes your way, sing on, sing on. Good ends. Keep your music going, breath flowing from your heart until the day lift is past and gone. Keep it going, steady, steady. Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on. Sing on. I'm going to keep going. I didn't set my little timer here, so I'll set it now. Altos, join the sopranos here. Sit, make an open vowel. Sometimes as I sit and watch the sunset. 4, sinking past the distant shore. Steady, smooth, steady. Wishing I could change what life has handed me. Lift, fearing I can't face what's in store. Tenors, sing with the sopranos. But deep inside I know I've got to let my life unroll. Basses, and it stirs the music in my soul. Go ahead through this verse again. Sing on, whatever comes your way. Sing on, breath. Sing on, keep your music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on. That's a long phrase. Sing on. Okay, I'm going to pause this briefly, and I'm going to come back out and look at the sopranos and see if anybody has any questions about the section we just sang, that whole few pages. Does anybody have any struggles or trouble in that spot? Okay, good. So the sopranos still have a few minutes to go. So we're going to go on to the sunrise and sunset section. I'm going to share the screen and go back to that. Before we do it with the music, with the practice guide, I want to look at the rhythm here. Sopranos is different after these first couple measures than everybody else. See, ups and downs and in-betweens, that's alto, tenor, bass. Sopranos, you got something else that is different, right? And you need to make it sound like it's comfortable and easy and familiar. That might require a little bit of extra rehearsal for you at home. Now, let's speak. I'm only going to speak the soprano part. Tenors and altos and basses, you can welcome to speak along with, but don't let it throw you off of your familiarity with your own part. So here we go, sopranos speaking, 2, 3, and go. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. You know what, we're going to just loop those two measures. That means everybody can join. Notice where the T is, right? Remember how I talked about the Luftpause thing, right? And I talk about a little image like a seagull that I use that. It's not really a breath. It's more of an articulation. And that articulation has to do with the T lining up with that last eighth note in the measure. Listen to it. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Everybody say that about 3 times in a row. Get the T in the right spot. And I'm going to do a little bit of subdivision here. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Again. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Again. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Now notice the and sunset. There have been times when I've done this piece where I actually changed the notation, and I said, we're not going to do it that way. And I flirted with that back in the spring for this piece, but I took all those things out because I thought that would complicate things in this situation. We're not going to do that. But the feeling that I have is that certain rhythms that the composer chose for this piece don't sound that natural for me. And so the work that I did, one of the things that I had to do while recording this section was do it enough times and get familiar enough with it that it felt comfortable, so it sounds comfortable for you. Because if my practice guide doesn't sound comfortable, you're going to have a real hard time following it. So I needed to make sure that that was okay. So you probably need to practice this also. And sunset, and sunset, and sunset. Let's do sunrise. 2, 3, and go. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Let's go on. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. This happens to that where the pens happens, that should be earlier, I think. But we make it work, we make it sound natural. Happens to us all. Let's loop that. Happens to us all. Again. Happens to us all. Okay, so now we go back to ups and downs. 1 and 2 and ups and downs and in-betweens. It happens to us all. Let's do that again. 3 and 4 and 1. Ups and downs and in-betweens. It happens to us all. Now the notes themselves aren't that hard, although for the altos, I found that their part is a little bit complicated and it's easy to mess up unless you hear what the harmony is, and we'll deal with that another time. But meanwhile, sopranos, I'm going to just play this without the recording. I'm going to sing this section, Sunrise. So let me make sure I'm in the right key. There's a C. So through 3 and go. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. So that's basically how that section. After that, C sopranos, you got to rest, and then you'll find a way to carry on. No problem there. Notice that you're in octaves with the altos, that A flat, you have that A flat also, and the tenors. They're just got that A flat because they just sang this A natural here. So that's a courtesy accidental there. But that's pretty simple. All right, sopranos, let's go back. We have a few seconds left, and let's do this sunrise section with the notation. I'm going to go back just a little bit before that.
Find the things that keep you singing on.
Sing on. Here comes sunrise. 3 and 4. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. Sopranos. You'll find a way to carry on. And we'll worry about this. Sing on, sing on. Next week, we'll come back to it. All right. Stop. Stop. Okay, so now altos, it's your turn. We'll just go ahead and do it in the order that, in score order. So, but let me go back here and check and see. Any sopranos, any altos got questions before we move on to this alto section? I'm looking for hands. All right, good. All right, and you know what? Actually, I realized I just haven't had anybody sing today. Maybe many of you say, oh, good. Or maybe actually some of you wanted to sing. I don't know. We'll worry about that next week. I will find the balance between the Adam show and giving other people a chance to sing. I remember what I was going to say an hour ago. What that was back in the spring when I did all this with the college choir. And you have to remember, in the college choir, they did not have a choice whether they got to sing in front of people, whether they had to sing in front of people or not. They had to. That was part of the requirements of the class. So there was no, there was no waiting for somebody to volunteer. I was just calling on people. But the thing that I realized after last week's rehearsal is that gave me an opportunity, both the group sessions with everybody and the combo sessions where I worked with 2 or 3 singers at a time. That gave me a constant understanding of how well the students were doing on the music. How well were they actually singing it? Did they have the rhythm correct? Did they sing the right pitches? How did they sound? Because somebody can tell you, oh yeah, got that part all right, no problem. And then you find out, well, actually, no, that's not really true. So in this case, when the great majority of you will probably never sing in front of the others or in front of me, that means the first opportunity that I will have to find out whether you're singing the right parts or not is when you send me your recording. So that's not quite ideal, in my opinion. But I promised that I would not put you on the spot and make you sing in front of each other. So I'm not going to change that. I promise that. But you see that there's a little bit of a dilemma here. I have thought about the possibility of suggesting some kind of singing buddy system where you have somebody else in the chorale that you're comfortable singing for or with, maybe in Zoom, maybe socially distant in person. And your friend says, oh my gosh, you're singing that totally wrong. And you say, oh, I'm glad you told me that before I sang it and recorded it for Adam. You see how this goes, right? All right, so I'm just thinking out loud right now, but I wanted to point out that that was a little bit of a concern for me, that I would like to have a better idea of whether you're singing the right notes and rhythms before we actually get to the recording stage. But, maybe there'll be other ideas coming in from you all too. All right, back to the altos. Going to share the screen again. And altos, we're starting, that's not 37, let's start about 34, something like that. Okay. Something inside. Okay. Oh, you know what, altos? Okay, I just figured something out, altos. I'm going to change that practice guide for you altos because you need to have a pitch coming to you so that you know what your first pitch is before you sing it. And I realized I didn't include that on there. So let's try that again. I'll sing it for you this time. Me is changed. Wait, I'm sorry. Hang on. I was in the wrong spot in the music. I'm on page 9 and I need to be on page... Sorry if this is awful to follow. Okay, something inside me has changed. You're going to barely hear that, I think, on the left side of your headphones. Let's go back and do that one more time. Go back. Something inside. 1, 2, 3, go altos. Still.
Sing on, whatever comes your way, sing on, sing on.
Lots of E flats here, keep them interesting.
Keep your music away.
Oh, we changed pitches.
Flowing from your heart.
what life has handed me.
Fearing I can't face what's in store.
Okay, altos, you got to change to ooh. You're changing roles. This is my octave.
Sing on, whatever comes your way. Sing on, sing on.
Practice those
Keep
ends.
your music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone.
Breathe for the long phrase.
Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on. Sing on.
Altos. Okay, hang on.
Sunrise.
Stop. Now, altos, I'm going to figure that you did the first two measures here, sunrise and sunset, when we spoke with the sopranos, and you got that. Now, the next phrase, tenors and basses, you might as well join us. Oh, I forgot to do the timer again. Timer. Tenors and basses, you might as well join us on this ups and downs and in-betweens, because you can see that all the tenors and basses and altos have the same rhythm here. Let me speak that for you. Only these two measures for the alto part. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. Remember how we put a stress on certain words in the soprano part that were off the beat and needed a little bit of extra emphasis? In this case, it's to and all. Listen to it. It happens to us all. Let's go back to ups and downs. 3 and 4. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. Now, altos, notice you got this little resolution here. You got a suspension that resolves on that E natural, which is a cool little moment. Meanwhile, the tenors and basses have cut out because they have to breathe for So Keep Your Music. The sopranos probably will hold the full length as long as you do. They should, sopranos, so that you're covered and it's not just the altos there. But you'll notice when you listen to the recording that that's a pretty subtle thing there. What's the word? Diminuendo. I decrescendo on that note, just like it's shown. And so it's not a blasty kind of resolution. It's a quiet one. Now, altos, I mentioned that there's a little bit of a tricky thing to the harmony here, and I can't really demonstrate it right now, but I can sing part of how I understand this song to you. Here's an A flat. So, sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall, ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. Okay, so notice this right here. This is the spot that I had trouble with, and I had to record a few times. From rise and fall to the C, and this line here, ups and downs and in-betweens. Altos, let's do that a couple times. Up, there's your first note, 1 and ready. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. Now coming into that from life will always rise and fall. Here's the F. Life will always rise and fall. Look at this line. Life will always rise and fall up. It leads to that C in measure 58. You can hear the momentum, even though it's interrupted by a breath. You can hear the momentum going to that C, and that should help you find that pitch. Here's sunrise. Sing it with me. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. I don't remember if I breathed there or not. I need to check that and make a marking if so. All right, how'd it go, altos? Hopefully it went really well. Let's go back and get the recording in here. Actually, let's stop. And let me see. Hey, altos with questions about this section, waving your hands, letting me know. Any altos with questions? Okay, fine. Oh, Chuck, you're sitting out there waiting. Sorry. Okay, so in the waiting room. All right, altos, sharing the screen again. Anybody else who wants to sing the alto part and learn a little bit more about the song, please do that. We're going to go back a little bit before this.
Take the time to look around and
Find the things that keep you singing on. Got to work on legato there.
sing on.
Here comes the sunrise.
Sunrise and sunset. Light will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens. It happens to us all. You'll find a way to carry on.
All right, I'm going to pause there.
See.
Okay. We have a few seconds left, but I might come back to that. But now I want to point out something here, that you change roles. I said this earlier in another spot. Altos, you are constantly shifting roles in this piece, maybe more than any other section. Sometimes you have the main melody and you're like joined with the sopranos or maybe with the basses and the tenors. Sometimes you have an ooh or an ah background. Sometimes you have an entirely different counter melody. And you have to change your role. You have to change your sound even in those spots. So this ah right here, this is a tricky little spot, and maybe we'll need to work on this more individually, and I'll need to hear how you're doing. Maybe ask somebody to sing this for me in a future rehearsal and see how you're doing. I found, actually it came to me, I've loved this line for a long time, so it wasn't hard for me, but when we got to that G there, it feels so low. I was like, oh my gosh, is that the right note? And I'm sure it was because I listened enough to be sure, but that feels really low to me. So if you find that to be the case for yourself, don't be surprised. Altos, let's see, and then after that, you'll find a way to carry on, sing on. Now here we go, altos. This little bit here, sing on, sing on. Basses and tenors have the melody there, right? They're carrying the torch for the melody, and you and the sopranos, the altos and the sopranos have this little duet counter melody, which then becomes unison here. This is all unison, soprano and altos together, all the way up to that E flat. Sing it from your heart. Lots of energy. This will be a good training song for you altos to help you work into that upper range. Till the day is gone. You hold that on while the sopranos go till it's gone. I love that little moment. Okay, altos, let's start you off and see how long you can go in a few seconds here. We'll do this section once again from sunrise and sunset. We'll start a little bit before that, like roughly here. Okay, starting the recording again.
Until the day is past and gone.
We're at 2:41. Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on.
Sing on. Sunrise and sunset. Light will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens. It happens to us all. You'll find a way to carry on.
Change roles, altos.
Sing on, sing on. Whatever comes your way. Sing on, sing on. Sing it from your heart till the day is gone.
Okay, all right, gonna stop there. Now I'm gonna jump over to the tenors. Tenors, it's your turn.
Adam?
And yep, go ahead. Somebody speaking, but they're muted. Is that you, Bob?
It's Bob. There's a note regarding measure 59, and it applies to all the tenors, altos, and basses. You have two different notations in there. One, on the bass line, you show what you changed for us. You made it the 16th, the dotted 8, and
Right,
the 16th.
okay. That's irrelevant now. We're not doing any of those changes that I did in the spring.
That's what we needed to know to erase that out of our.
Yep, erase that
music.
out of your score. That's what I was talking about when I was saying I had experimented with changing rhythms and decided in this context to not worry about that, but to go with the notation on the page. So, okay, good. All right, so tenors, actually, let me stop sharing for a minute and see how, any questions from the tenors or altos, the stuff that we just did. Okay, I'm going over a little bit. I'll probably end up at a 8:40 or so by the time we're done. So, let's see. So, just checking here. Okay, so I'm seeing that there can be a lag between my singing and the music that you're hearing. So if that becomes a problem, please break in and let me know that that's happening. All right, going to share the screen. Going to go back and work with the tenors here. We're not going to do that beginning section, the solo part at the beginning, the bass and tenor solo, because we did that last time. Except, I think we'll start something inside me has changed. Tenors, like I was talking to the altos before, you have to change roles here. You change signatures. You change from the, wait, that's not the clef. You change clef from the bass clef to the tenor clef here. So that means you're changing the part of your voice also, because it goes up to an E flat there from an F there. It's a jump of a seventh. You have to be ready just in this quarter note rest here to make that adjustment in your voice. So it sounds like this. Something inside me is changed. Ooh. Let's do that together, tenors. And anybody else who wants to sing with us, you can do it in your own range. Here we go, let me check that C and make sure that's right. Okay, that's good. 2, 3, and something inside me is changed. Ooh, breath. Ooh, gotta change this, gotta put that ooh in here. Let's see if I can do this. Copy. Paste. No, it's up there somewhere. Sometimes when it pastes it in the middle of nowhere and I have to go look for it. All right, never mind. I'll do that later. All right, tenors, this is an ooh also. Altos, that's an ooh. I'll fix that later. Tenors, going sing on. Notice here you're singing a harmony part. You're not the melody with the sopranos. You're on a different part. Whatever comes your way. Tenors, see the sopranos move and you don't. Right, all the same pitch, sing on. You got the second, wait, no. What are you in there? It doesn't matter. You are a harmony note that's different from the soprano part, right? So expect your part to sound different than the soprano part and carry that across. Part of what makes this interesting here is this clash between the basses and tenors and altos and sopranos. You're both seconds apart, E flat and F there, and B flat and C. That means we got a nice clash in the harmony, which is part of what makes this song beautiful. All right, looking forward. Keep your music going, flowing, remember on another day is past and gone. I think, oh, and then, ah, now we're on ah here. This spot, basses and tenors, paying attention here at page 7, at measure 25. This is one of the trickiest spots in the song for you, and especially this note right here, that A natural, because you come down this line, very small intervals, minor second intervals, and you have to make sure you get not too low on these and high enough on this one. I find the best thing that helps me is to really think melodically on this phrase, heading to this B flat here at the end. Basses and tenors, I'm going to sing this for you and then I'm going to ask you to sing it back to me. Here's a B flat. So, sing on. All of this is just getting back to that B flat that we started on. Everything coming away is melodic, heading back to that B flat. Let's do it together. 2, 3, and go. Sing on. Now, the harmony in the piano part might help you hear this. And of course, there's my vocal practice guide track too. So we'll see how that goes when we get into it. Okay, so here we go. Tenors, we're going to start back here on Something Inside Me Has Changed, or as close to that as I get when I set this up. Let's see. Back just a little bit.
Something inside me winds up singing. Something inside me is changed.
Here's the change to ooh.
Sing on, whatever comes your way, sing on, sing on. Keep your music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. Sing on.
Okay, I'm going to stop this for a minute and jump out here, see if I have any tenors with questions. Tenors with questions on this spot.
I have a question.
Okay, go for it. Who is this? Mary?
This is Mary. So sometimes I'm hearing a little bit different vowel in the on. Sometimes it's very ah, and sometimes it's more ah.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to like land on that?
Yeah, thank you for asking about that. I'll have to think about that. Huh. Oh no. I was going to say I'll wait to hear what I hear in rehearsal, but no, I don't get to do that. I think sometimes my singing veers towards the brighter quality, a little tiny bit of nasal possibly. Sing on, don't want that. Sing on, I think a little bit more of AW quality to on, I think is what I'd prefer. So let that maybe guide you as you sing and see if that tells you. Does that tell you enough, Mary? A little bit more towards
that helps a lot. Thank you.
Towards the darker side of the ah vowel. Yeah.
So
okay.
just a slightly more open mouth, I think.
Yeah.
For all of us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Adam,
that's
this
true.
is Phil.
Phil, go.
This is Phil. I think opening up a little bit would help a little bit. It tends to want to close down.
Yeah, sing on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sing on. That's a good idea. Okay, thanks for bringing that up, Mary, and your comment, Phil. All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay, tenors. There's a spot that I also want to do, so let's go back in here just for a few minutes with the tenors, and then I'll do the basses, and then what we'll do at the end is I'll play the all parts equal, and we'll just all sing through it together. Let's see. There was a spot for the tenors. So, yeah, we need to do the sunrise and sunset spot for the tenors. So I'm skipping ahead. I'm going to find roughly 253 in the recording, and then I'll bring it back. Okay, so now I'm going to share the screen once again and go back into the score. Let's see. Play.
Sing on, keep your music
jump in anytime.
flowing from your heart until the day is past and
Okay, we're
gone.
measure 53, 52. You changed it to ooh here. Why do you do ah before an ooh now? I don't know. Be aware of it.
Sing on.
Let's go ahead and go through it, tenor, see how it goes.
Sunrise and sunset, light will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong.
rehearse the tenors just for a moment on this one spot back here in the ups and downs, sunrise. So listen to this. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall, just coming down there, pretty straightforward. Then ups and downs and in betweens, it happens to us all. Let's do the ups and downs. Let's do that together, tenors. 3 and 4. Ups and downs and in betweens, it happens to us all. Make sure you get this breath. You put the L on the 4th beat, you get a breath there, you change your embouchure, you change your quality for so keep. You decrescendoed here a little bit, and you need to come in here fairly full, but not loud. Okay, so ups and downs, this time with the breath and going on. 3 and 4. Ups and downs and in betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong. You'll find a way to carry on. All right, so probably you will find that you'd have to do a little bit of adjusting here, a little bit of getting used to this change here. Your voice may wobble. On the so keep your music flowing strong, my voice did until I got used to this and got it into my voice, basically. All right, tenors, thank you. Basses, you're up. So we're going to go back to the same spot, back towards the beginning. And so basses, you don't have that ooh there. You have some spots, basses, where you have to come in out of the blue. And you got to pick up the pitches. I'll give you pitches on the practice guides. I'll make sure that they're there if they're not already. And so you have to come in, sing on. Let's see, whatever comes your way, sing on, sing on. I'm going to rush through this a little bit. Keep your music flowing because I figure you've heard it before when you practiced it last spring with us. And yes, so notice this bass. This is a jump for you that's a little more tricky than it is for the tenors because they're only moving a little bit. You're moving an octave. Day is past and gone. Keeping the valve open like we just talked about. Ah, keeping your mouth open for gone is going to help you sing ah more easily and get that pitch and be ready for it. Also, talking about attacks and onset that we worked on at the beginning of the rehearsal, here's a place where you're going to need to have that ready. Ah, ah, ah. Let's do 3 of those basses. Everybody can do it. Here we go. Ah, ah, ah. Now let's go back a measure, 2 measures. Day is past, 2, 3, and singing. Day is past and gone. Ah, sing on. Now, speaking actually to what Mary was talking about with the sing on, I remember now that the NG of sing on can really affect your vowel, especially if you have spit and you need to swallow, sing on, you know, I experienced that. There may be a number of reasons why your throat may do any kind of weird thing heading into that vowel. Just know that that's possible. Sing on and try to keep your mouth open. All right, basses, let's see. I think that's enough to work on for the moment. So we're going to go back to letter B on page 5. And we're going to go back to about 45 seconds in the recording. By the way, when I demonstrate how you can go back to a certain point in the recording and associate it with a place in the music, that's a guide for what you can do when you're practicing on your own, so you can associate these things together, the practice guides and the sheet music. Okay, we're gonna play the bass at about 46. Sing on. I need to give you more notes than that, sorry. So 1, 2, 3. Sing on.
Whatever comes your way, sing on. Sing on. Keep your music flowing, flowing from your heart until the day is
Now I'm going to jump ahead for a bit because the next time you come back in, basses, oh, wait, there's this little tricky spot here on page 9 for the basses. And it stirs the music in my soul. It's like you have to join the conversation as if you've been involved in it all along. When the tenors and sopranos sing, but deep inside I know I've got to let my life unroll, and it stirs the music in my soul, right? So basses, you got to be ready to jump right on there, not be rushed, not be early, not be late, have the breath ready. And really the best way I think to do that is to, even if you don't really sing it out much, you could sing, but deep inside I know I go roll, and it stirs the music. At least get a little bit of maybe life unroll. You might sing that part so that you get the same kind of breath that the tenors and sopranos are going to be taking because they've been singing that phrase. That should provide you the timing that you need, that you come in the right spot. Now, on the practice guide, I sang a couple times in these measures before. I went do-do-do, do-do-do. So you could hear this first 3 notes. You could hear what that sounds like. So I'm going to try to go back far enough that you can hear that. Let's see, sing on, whatever comes your way, sing on, all the same. Okay, sing on. Then we get to the sunrise spot. Let's do that for a moment. So basses, take a look at the alto part, right? We did that already, and the altos start on that A flat just like you do, but you move where they don't. There's kind of a relationship between the bass part and the alto part here, and often through the song. So let's see, I'm going to sing this a little bit for you, and it goes, sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Notice rise and fall, you change there. You're going down to the A flat. So just like the altos, rise and fall, they're going down in the next measure, rise and fall. Got the wrong note there. Rise and fall, ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. Basses, we're going to do this as an exercise in a future meeting. Ups and downs and in. Everybody, please, not just basses. Can everybody sing this from your low range into your mid range? Ups and downs and in. Here, my voice wasn't very happy with that because I hadn't breathed and didn't have my air moving. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music, again, basses. The tenors don't have that much of an adjustment to make there, but you do. You have a minor 7th that you have to adjust. So you really need to change your vocal feeling there between here and there. And that 8th note rest and breath is your opportunity to do that. Let's do this sunrise a little bit slower than the real tempo. Sunrise and sunset, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong. And then you get to rest until sing on, whatever comes when you got the melody. Basses, let's go back a little bit before sunrise, back to, all the way back to, and it stirs the music in my soul. We're going to go back to 202, page 9, and we're going to sing through that section. Okay, where are we at here? 154. Can't face what's in store. Here come the tenors and sopranos. Deep inside, I know I've got to learn. Here we come, basses. And it stirs. And it stirs the music in my soul. Sing on. Whatever comes your way, sing on. Sing on. Keep your music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. That up here.
growing strong.
Okay, I'm not going to stop there. All right. So everybody, we need to go back to the very beginning of Sing On and sing it all the way through. Everybody singing their own parts. And let me just check chat here. Okay, nothing new coming in there. All right. I hope that you found this useful. I'm trying to give equal time to the sections so that people have time working on things. And gosh, we've gone late, but guess what? We're going to go through the song and we'll call it good at that point. Any last questions before I do that? Looking for waving hands. Okay. All right. Good. So I'm going to share the screen once again. I think I'm going to get out of the way and I'm not going to try to sing anything. I might suggest a few things to you as we go, but I'm going to let the vocal track do the singing for me. Okay. One of the things that I'm having a little trouble with this in these mixes, I can't hear the piano part very well, which is giving me a little bit of a hard time hearing the timing, especially sing on. Whatever comes your way, that'll be easier when I can give you a visual cue when I'm conducting. That'll come, but we don't have that yet. Okay, here we go, very beginning. And as loud as I can go. You can set it up louder probably.
Sometimes when I chance to catch the sunrise, rising o'er the eastern range, something inside me winds up singing. Something inside me is changing.
Go sopranos, 2, 3.
Something inside me seems there's more to life than we ever knew.
Breath.
It's losing my soul.
2 basses. Sing
on. Whatever comes your way, sing on. Sing on. Keep your music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. Take the time to look around and find the things that keep you singing on.
2, 3.
Sing on.
Here come the ladies, sometimes as I sit. Ready?
Sometimes as I sit and watch the sunset, sinking past the distant shore, wishing I could change what life has handed me, fearing I can't face what's in store.
But deep inside, I know
I've got to learn.
Here come basses. And it stirs the music in my
soul. Sing on.
3, 4.
Whatever comes your way, sing on. Sing on. Keep your music going, flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. find the things that keep you singing on.
Altos take the lead.
Sing on, sing whatever comes your way. Sing on, sing on, sing on, and so we run from hearts to your hearts. Sing on. There's always a way to find the things that keep you
6 beats.
singing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Off.
Sing on, find a way to sing. Sing on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how we'll count that last measure and how long it lasts. All right. Very cool, everybody. Good work. Good work. Good singing. I mean, I'm assuming it was good singing. Of course it was good singing. So there are a few pages towards the end there that we didn't spend time on. Soprano and altos, the little counter melodies, and we'll spend some time on that. I really don't know how well you're doing on the song, though I can say that back in March and February when you were singing it, it sounded beautiful then. So I don't imagine that we've stepped back particularly, although it is harder to sing when you can't hear anybody else. Still, in terms of how well you know the piece, probably you know it well, and now you know it better. I know it a lot better than I knew it in the spring, and I thought I knew it well then. So I'm going to need to get feedback from you in terms of pace. How are we doing? Is this too slow? Is it too fast? Is it about right? Participation. Do we need to have more people other than me singing? And granted, as somebody pointed out, with the smoke, I guess I took the effort of singing tonight. But I also I just need to figure out how much I need to work on building you all into this, you as singers into this mix, so that we can, because I really do need some diagnostic opportunities here to find out how you're doing. Okay, we got to stop because we went a lot later than I intended. I really do intend to stop at 8:30 generally, so I'll try to plan it that way in the future. Meanwhile, thanks everybody. It's good to see you again. So
Thank you.
I'll let you
Adam,
say
can I
goodbye to
keep
each
you
other.
on for just a sec?
Sure, go ahead, Brian.
This is just, technical stuff for when you're updating those tracks that you said you were going to change.
Okay, actually, Brian, why don't you save that for after everybody is logged off? We'll just wait a few seconds here and people can wave and say goodbye and thanks. Okay.
Bye.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Bye,
Debbie.
Meryl. Seeing you.
Hi, Debbie.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Adam. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 I have audio. I changed my browser from Chrome to Windows.
Aha, good, good.
That might help somebody else.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly the
Right.
kind of thing we want to disseminate. So, all right, Brian, you could probably go ahead now with that.
Just when you're doing especially when you're changing these, you said you were going to put in some lead-in notes and stuff into the practice guides. You have what you do is when you go into manage music and go into the album, and then you can just delete the songs that are there and put in new ones. But then you have the control there of what order things are in. You can drag things up and down. That's
Okay.
why it wasn't in any order, because I didn't even look at the order. It's fixed now, by the way. So, once you're done adding stuff, make sure that the songs are in the order that you want them in.
Okay, it's interesting because I added audio tracks two different ways to Wix. I started using the library, and then I had trouble accessing the files that way. So I switched to doing something different, which I can't describe exactly right now, but maybe you know what I'm talking about. And when I switched to the other way of doing it, then for example, I couldn't seem to access the downloadable button that Bob was talking about.
Yeah, because there's two different things. There's just audio players, and then there's also, then you got what it calls Wix Music, which is connected to an album in the settings.
Okay.
So you will. The other point I was going to make is you will also want to, when you get ready to do the parts for the other songs, create a new album for each one, and that way that when you hook up the player to it, it will show all the songs for that particular song, all the parts for that particular song.
Okay.
And
okay.
You shouldn't have any troubles. It used to be real picky if you add a song or delete a song or whatever, you had to wait for it to process that you had done something. And then if you didn't, it wouldn't save it. If you closed that music manager thing before it was done, your changes might not be there. But it seems to be a lot more stable in that respect. I don't think you're going to have any trouble.
Okay, sounds fine. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so trying to think if there are any outstanding questions. Yes, there is. There's the YouTube channel question.
I will be working on that. I will look at that first thing in the morning.
Okay, and that's how we're going to, for a start, that's how we're going to put the Zoom recordings online.
Right.
Okay, and then
There's a